Ms. Backstrom, I'm assuming you're talking about selling puppies and the puppy mills. We have several people want to speak. I'm going to ask you, please do not repeat yourselves. We will hear each of you speakers, but I'd ask you to keep your comments so that we're not repeating it 15 times. So,
okay,
thank you.
We'll try that.
Well, you're first, so
okay.
you're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't listen to everybody else's notes. Good afternoon. My name is Francine Moore Backstrom. I've been a resident of Colorado Springs for 49 years. I want to speak with you today for the voiceless in hopes of placing an initiative on an upcoming ballot to ban the sale of commercially bred puppies, more commonly known as puppy mills, in pet stores that sell them. I'm hoping Colorado Springs will follow suit with over 200 localities across the U.S. that have enacted a retail ban on the sale of dogs and cats from commercial breeders. The most ethical way to obtain a pet is to save a life by adopting from a shelter or rescue. We would like to see these stores change to a more humane model of selling puppies only from shelters or rescues. Pet store buying perpetuates an industry that enslaves dogs in horrifying conditions. This ban would also benefit our local humane society that takes in approximately 50 animals per day. Pet store puppies are not required to be spayed and neutered, so this contributes to this number. In 2015, 2,476 dogs were euthanized. Many could have been saved by being sold through the pet stores. For example, the city of Albuquerque started the ban in 2006. Adoptions have been increased by 23%. Euthanasia rates have decreased by 35%. I've spoken this past week with the director of the Humane Society, who appreciates our efforts and provided me with these statistics. Another one being that the city of Colorado Springs pays $1.4 million to the shelter for housing and animal law enforcement. I sincerely hope council members will consider this. Thank you, and if allowed, am I allowed to pass out some informative materials?
Yes, if you could give those to our council administrator, she'll make sure everybody on council gets
I
them.
sincerely hope someone reaches out to any of us discussing this today, and we'll pursue this. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go with Bonnie Johnson, please.
Thanks for the honor to speak to you today. My name is Bonnie Johnson. I am a native of Colorado Springs. I own Colorado Springs Bike Shop, which tomorrow we've been there 44 years in the same location. I'm the president of Crime Stoppers, Pikes Peak Area Crime Stoppers. I'm on the city's ATAG board, Active Transportation Advisory Committee. So I take this city seriously. I do what I can. I don't like crime. I do what I can with that. I feel puppy mills in this day and age are a crime. And I also care a great deal about other people's businesses and their livelihood. I do not want to help put any business out of business. I want to help them change their business profile, which has been very successful in many cities across the United States, including Denver, of changing pet stores that sell puppy mills into pet stores that sell rescue and shelter dogs. Pet City and Valley Pets have a unique opportunity to get the help from the citizens of this city to teach them where to get purebred and mixed puppies to sell other than puppy mills. We have been unsuccessful in speaking with the owners, so their time is not far off where they will not have a choice except to change. We're here to ask City Council to help Colorado Springs be on the forefront to ban the sale of puppy mill dogs and cats. State Representative Alec Garnett is working on a bill as we speak to do that right now, to ban the sale of puppy mill puppies in the entire state of Colorado. This bill will go to committee soon, and everyone you see here, plus thousands more, will be in Denver to testify on his bill, on his behalf. One of my puppy mill survivors, Gracie, on the top right, spent 12 and a half years in a puppy mill. She had 24 litters of puppies in her life. They start breeding them at 6 months old. Her average litter was 4 puppies per litter, making 96 puppies in her lifetime that she gave birth to. A purebred Maltese in the pet stores sell for between $2,000 and $3,000 each. Using an estimate of $2,400 for each puppy, Gracie made the puppy mill, the broker, and the pet store a minimum of $230,000 off of her little body, and not 1 red cent ever went to medical care for heartworm treatment, vaccinations. She was dumped by the breeder because she had so much breast cancer it was dragging the ground with open mammary tumors. And I'll end there. I have more to say, but maybe
Okay.
she will on hers. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. Renee Steary, is that correct? Renee?
And that's Renee here.
Okay, thank you.
I'll hold it up and you start after
My name is Renee Sterney. Before I just start reading, I didn't prepare anything myself, but I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak to you. I'm also here, I'm sorry if I'm going to get emotional, but I'm here on behalf of a friend of mine, Pam Fisher Horton, who has gotten, she has 4 puppy mill dogs, one named Little Olive, who passed away about 1.5 years ago, and Agnes, Millie, and Hazel. She wanted to be here today to speak to you all about this because it is very near and dear to her heart. But Millie was rushed to the emergency room. She's having trouble breathing, and she's fighting for her life. So we're all here today to support her and speak to get puppy mills out of pet stores and to close them down for good. So I'm just going to finish reading what Bonnie had here. After a lengthy, extensive surgery and having all their teeth pulled because puppy mill dogs are only allowed to drink water from a gerbil feeder because they have never lapped the water, their teeth rot and decay into their jaws. My other 2 puppy mill survivors spent 9 and 7 years in the puppy mill breeding. Their lives were just as horrific. Please let us know what we as residents of the city need to do to get your help to ban the sale of puppy mill dogs and cats within our city. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Vicki Allinger, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Vicki Allinger, and I'm here today to respectfully ask that City Council will consider passing an ordinance to ban the sale of commercially bred dogs in pet stores. For those of you who may not know what a puppy mill is, a puppy mill is a commercial breeding facility whose sole purpose is profit without regard for the health and well-being of the breeding dogs. The parents are bred every breeding cycle until their bodies give out. They're forced to live in cramped cages their entire lives, often in their own waste. These parent dogs are not always fed healthy food or clean water, and they're very rarely seen by a vet for illness or injury. Many ask why puppy mills are illegal. The answer, plain and simple, is that the USDA and state agencies allow them to exist. Not every USDA licensed dog breeder runs a horrible operation, but they are all required to follow the same very lax laws set forth by the USDA and the Animal Welfare Act. We're asking today for City Council to enact an ordinance to ban the sale of retail dogs in our city. The largest outlet for puppy mill puppies is these pet stores. This is a classic case of supply and demand. If there are fewer pet stores buying from the mills, hopefully the breeders will see that the demand is dropping and there isn't a need for as many dogs on their property. Others have asked what will happen to the pet stores if an ordinance is enacted. By no means do we want to put any local businesses out of business. We want them to change to a humane business model. We want the pet stores to work with the Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region and local rescue groups to offer dogs for adoption at their stores. There are many successful pet stores open in other cities that have passed a retail sales ban ordinance. There are also several successful pet stores right here in our own city that do not sell puppies. They sell pet food and supplies and are very successful at that. These include Roughing It in Stetson Hills, Republic of Paws in Old Colorado City, and the Wagon Wash Natural Food and Bakery on East Woodman Road, just to name a few. The reason I'm here today is because of this little guy, Furby. He spent 10 years in a puppy mill. In that time, he fathered hundreds, if not thousands, of puppies. Due to lack of veterinary care, his teeth and lower jaw rotted away. He had an ulcer in his eye and extremely painful arthritis. He was rescued from the puppy mill in May of 2013 and adopted in June of 2013. He spent his days the way all dogs should, but sadly, Furby passed away in November of 2016. And if council would allow, I would like to pass out some
Yes,
materials.
sir, you could do that through our council administrator, please.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
I'm not able to read the first name, but the last name is McSee. I believe it's McSee. Is that correct? McGee? McSee?
Last name.
Okay. All right. How about Sandra Savitman? Man, I mean.
Council, I would like to tell you about my dogs, all puppy mill rescues. The first is Peaches, our Pomeranian. She spent 6 years in a puppy mill before we adopted her, and then she died of heartworms. It's a horrible but preventable disease if treated in time. A heartworm preventative is about $5 per month, yet she had untreated heartworms for years while in a puppy mill. By the time she was rescued, it was too late, and 6 months later, she died in my arms. We now have Atticus, our brown Pom, Rosie, our white Pom, and Tiny Tim, our Yorkie. All three are puppy mill rescues. All have behavioral issues, scare easily, and do not like loud noises. After years with us, they still do not trust easily, but they are loved. Tiny Tim, our Yorkie, spent 8 years in a puppy mill. All of his teeth have now been removed, but he lived with a mouthful of abscessed teeth for years before being rescued. Just imagine living with that kind of relentless pain day after day. He also had a broken jaw that wasn't treated and healed him properly. When we adopted Tim, I had to take him upstairs away from our other dogs so he would eat. He was terrified to eat around any dogs. If I gave him a treat, he would frantically try to push it away, as if he had been mistreated by humans, using food as bait, or attacked by other dogs in the mills. I have no idea which scenario is correct, but both break my heart. Puppy mill dogs seldom have heat in the winter or cool air in the summer. They live their lives in cages that are 6 inches larger than their bodies on all sides, only 6 inches. A tiny wire cage, no grass, no bed, no vet care, some for their entire lives until they die in those cages, having never been loved. Mill dogs do not run, they don't play in grass. They drink out of hamster bottles and live in filthy cages without one single kindness from a human. They have litter after litter of puppies, those same cute puppies you see in pet stores. When those dogs are no longer money makers, they are discarded. The lucky ones are rescued. The others are shot, drowned, beaten in the head with a rock, buried alive, or any other horrible death you can imagine. We have to stop puppy mills from continuing, and the first step is to make it illegal for pet stores to sell these puppies. Please adopt, don't shop, and save a life. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen Lavelle Myers, please.
Good afternoon. I thank you for the opportunity to discuss the problem of pet overpopulation, which exists all across our country. The primary cause fueling this problem is the role played by large-scale commercial breeding facilities, also known as puppy mills. There is a huge surplus of pets because there are not enough homes for them. Thousands are destroyed each year at shelters and rescues, and the cycle goes unbroken because puppy mills continue to breed in large numbers due to the lack of any responsible constraints put on them. This problem has existed for decades. puppy mills breed puppies for profit with little regard for the health or well-being of the puppies they sell to pet stores or online to consumers, and the breeder parents who spend their entire life in small wire cages in unsanitary conditions with no socialization. Puppy mills do not screen their dogs for genetic or inherited problems, which can result in consumers buying a puppy that is unhealthy and requires costly vet bills. The trend in our country is towards responsible legislation aimed at reducing pet overpopulation. At least 20 states and 200 cities and counties have passed legislation banning the sale of commercially bred puppies at pet stores and outdoor venues. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is a huge puppy mill state, has taken a strong stand against puppy mill cruelty. The legislation we're proposing would not affect those who want to have purebred dogs or cats. In fact, it can actually increase business for responsible hobby breeders who do put the health and well-being of their dogs and cats at a premium. The problem is not with responsible breeders who provide adequate space for their animals to live and play, good veterinary care, and adequate screening for genetic problems. And most importantly, they don't overbreed the parents for years and years. The parents suffer the most from this never-ending grind of the puppy mill system. Pet stores can benefit from partnering with local shelters by hosting pet fairs to assist in finding homes for adoptable pets. The increased traffic in these pet stores for such events and the consumer's goodwill can be a win-win for the store and the pets. By reducing pet overpopulation, the large cost to run animal shelters can be lowered. Today's system of unrestrained breeding by puppy mills ensures a revolving door of surplus dogs for shelters and rescues to care for, many of which will be destroyed due to lack of homes. The roadmap for the future should include legislation which responsibly regulates the sale of pets in order to reduce the number of animals being destroyed, which in turn would reduce costs to manage the pet overpopulation problem. We sincerely urge City Council to pass meaningful animal welfare legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Murray?
Ladies, question for you real fast. Who are you working with on council for this? Do you have a single point of contact here on the council where you're bringing your concerns in this particular issue to?
I understand we're working with Jill Gabler.
I have talked to them before. It's been quite a while, but I would be very happy to discuss this issue.
We would appreciate that. Thank you.
And several of us will support her if you'll follow up on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is, please note